And we're live. Hello, Thor. How are you?
Hello.
So we've got one viewer in here, but we'll launch right into it. So everybody, I want to introduce Thor Sandalwood. Thor Sandalwood was recommended to me by one of my clients as an amazing astrologer. He is currently my only astrologer. So, Thor, I know you do Vedic astrology, and that was one of the things that you kind of had to give me the tutorial on. Just talk a little bit about Vedic astrology and how it's different from Western astrology.
So like sorry, what I like to tell people is Vedic astrology, it comes from ancient India, whereas Western tropical astrology, which most people are familiar with, that comes from ancient Greece. So there's kind of a cultural difference between the two astrologies, but also the zodiac. In Vedic astrology, they use something called the sidereal zodiac, which is about 29 degrees different from the Western tropical zodiac. So people get surprised a lot of times when we do a Vedic chart and their sign is actually different than what their Western tropical chart is. Also, when we determine your sign in Vedic astrology, for those of you that are new to this, your sign can actually vary throughout the day. So every 2 hours, the sign would be changing because it's really based on the location, the time, the date you're born, and what is the rising sign on the eastern horizon. Now that sounds a little technical, but we, as long as you have a birth time, a reasonable birth time, we can calculate what your ascendant or rising sign is. But that's the difference. Is with Vedic astrology, it's influenced by ancient India, so it's all about karma, reincarnation, and really interpreting what your karma is for the current lifetime.
And that's one of the reasons why it's so appealing to me, because I believe very strongly in multiple lifetimes, working toward a pinpoint in the future where you elevate your spirit and practice different things so that you can become better and better over a series of lifetimes. Do I say it wrong? I say, is that like a East Coast, West Coast thing, Vedic and
I have heard other people call it Vedic. I think it's just it's a Sanskrit word, so we all probably pronounce it probably not exactly correctly because it's a Sanskrit word, but I say Vedic. But Vedic is I hear other people say it too, so don't feel
I am going to defer to you and say Vedic. I'm going to practice that moving forward. But I mean, one of the things we were talking about it when I moved to California, we say orange here. And when I went there, people would spot me a million miles away and they'd go, orange, it's orange. And so when I came back, it's one of the words that like kind of stuck with me.
okay.
Yeah. So it's okay. Wait, Vedic? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Vedic. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I got it. Vedic. Like
but no
Darth
one's going
Vader.
to think any different if you say Vedic.
So yeah, but other people might. You know how judgy people can get on social media.
Oh yeah.
So I'm one of those fortunate people. I remember when you did my first chart, you were like, "Don't be surprised if your sign changes," and I'm still a Cancer on both sides. So
cool.
I was very excited. I love being a Cancer, even though we're like the weepiest and crybabiest out of the
So you're
signs.
born in June or July, if I remember.
July 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case anybody in the comments wants to buy me a gift, July 12th.
I'm actually a Cancer in Western astrology too. So because I was June, I'm born in June. So
oh yeah, we're both Cancers. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I just want to let everybody know in the comments, I did pin Thor's channel to the top of the chat. So go over, give him a follow. He's got great stuff. And he had an amazing video on Prince William, Prince of Wales. I just watched it, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of stuff that's going to make people smile. So I would say go over there and check that out after this video. We're live right now, so we can take questions in the comments, but we're going to start out. We talked before, and we're going to start out with the royals.
All
because
right.
there's
Yeah.
just so much going on there, Thor. Like, what's the hottest topic, royally speaking, for you right now?
Hottest topic right now obviously would be King Charles cancer diagnosis. And there's actually several things from that. So, I mean, we could dissect that quite a bit. There's the cancer diagnosis, there's what's going on with Prince William. Is he going to be king in the near future this year? And then we also have, I don't know if you hear, there might be some banging, there's some construction nearby. Um, Also, what we have is apparently the Princess of Wales has been missing since Christmas, I believe, I've actually been picking up that because I've been getting a lot of comments that they said no one's seen her since, so they're kind of wondering what's going on. We were told that she went in for an abdominal surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and then no one's heard anything. So there's been a bunch of speculation about that. There's something going on there as well.
Yeah, so we actually got an outside of the royal family question. I kind of want to know the answer. Persnickety is always in my chats. Awesome to see Persnickety. But how many different astrological systems are there?
There's so many. I mean, if are you asking me? Because there's a lot of astrological systems. Even within India, there's several different ones. So the particular brand of astrology I practice and from the ancient Indian is Parashara. It comes from a sage named Sage Parashara. But there's other systems. There's Jaimini astrology. There's the astrology of Sri Yuktesar. There's even Chinese astrology. So I mean there is literally, I think of them as just different forms of divination. So just like if you did tarot cards or you do runes or it's just different ways of interpreting energy and whether they be planetary energies or you're reading tea leaves in someone's cup.
Yeah, I always use tarot cards on my channel because it's very visual and people can see it. But I love controlled remote viewing, but it's too tedious to do on my channel. It's too much quiet time. It's not as dynamic and fun as looking at tarot cards and seeing all kinds of fun stuff, especially if I get crazy decks going. So why don't we do this? Why don't we start with King Charles III?
Mhm.
I will say this. I have not gotten great readings as far as he goes about this whole situation. So, can you bring your charts up on the screen? Do you have that ability, or
Let me
we,
see.
we maybe should have done something different with that?
Beforehand. Let me
Yeah.
see if it let's see. Oh, well, I'd have to pull up his chart really quick here. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Actually, it's still under Prince Charles, the chart.
Well, we all still call him Prince Charles. And I have always, anyone who hasn't seen readings that I've done on him, I even prior to the passing of Queen Elizabeth, I really only saw, I called him king for a day. And I didn't mean literally one day, but I've always seen that he is going to have an extremely short reign. It is not going to be anything even close to what we saw with Queen Elizabeth II. Also, that I didn't necessarily see him passing. That was one of the things. I really saw him stepping down from the role.
Um, well, I think I can pull up the chart if your followers want to see what a Vedic astrology chart looks like.
Yeah, if you
Let me
use
see.
the present
It's the
button, I think
present.
you can
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm going to show you all if you guys are interested in what King Charles chart looks like. Now, this is not a paint chart, so I'm just going to show you the chart as a background, basically. And if you look at it, I can kind of explain a little bit. So let me show you what that looks like. I have a special software program called Kala. So let's see. All right, let me see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Can people see that?
I'm going to put it up. Here we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Now I'm wondering, is it hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay, sweet. Okay. So this is what a Vedic astrology chart looks like for anyone that are new at this. It's this square looking chart, and there's quite a bit of construction going on behind me, so I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone.
Okay, we can't really hear it. It's all right.
Okay. Okay, so anyways, you'll notice that in Vedic astrology, King Charles is a Cancer ascendant. Okay. And then he's got his Saturn in the second house. But there's also this thing, I don't know if you see in the lower left-hand corner, there's these things called Vimshatari Dasha, which is like planetary timelines.
Okay.
And so these planetary timelines, I'm sorry, I don't know. I was waiting for a reaction or something.
No.
In these planetary timelines, and I don't know if you guys can quite see it, he's in something called a sun period right now. And sun is first of all, it's debilitated in King Charles charts, which to me, this shows that what's going on with King Charles is quite serious, because the sun can kind of represent your bodily vitality. And then also it's with this thing called K2, which is that upside down looking horseshoe looking symbol there. And K2 represents the south node. So what happens is when you have planets next to the south node or next to K2, it tends to scatter or reduce that energy, which makes me feel that this is quite serious. This is a quite serious situation. So in my reading, I feel like this is more serious than I even think they're telling us.
I think so too.
Like, I think this is like, I know they didn't tell us what stage of cancer it is, and they didn't tell us where the cancer is as well. But to me, I feel like it's quite serious. The second house, sun rules the second house. And in Vedic astrology, they have these houses, which are they sound scary, but there's houses that can represent an end of an incarnation. Okay. Since we're talking about reincarnation, right? So an end of an incarnation would happen during a planetary period of the second house or the seventh house within a Vedic chart. And he's in a period of one of those houses. Okay, so he's in a period of the second house, which shows that, their potential is there, that we could see. I mean, depending on how bad, obviously I'm not going to make a medical diagnosis, but depending on how bad this is, if this is serious, he's in this really dangerous period for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
From now until about May. So that's what I got through my thing. And I'm telling people, like, I think people, if you believe in prayer, you might want to start praying. Like, if if you're rooting for King Charles, because it's quite serious.
So, and that actually coordinates with treatment for cancer. I mean, unfortunately, my mother-in-law, we just lost her to cancer in July. The chemo rounds, they'll do those 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So that kind of makes sense to me, that they would say, 3 months. I do see one of my mods, Tarot Destiny, said she's actually an amazing tarot reader. I think he's had cancer for a while. I think he has too. And I do think it was undetected. I think they had indications that maybe he did have something going on, but I don't think that they actually located it. So, I think it's well seeded. I hate to say it. So, we got 29 people watching right now. I just want to let you guys know, nice. I pinned Thor's channel to the top. Please go over and give him a follow on his YouTube channel. He's got amazing stuff. And I also put his website in the chat as well. It is thorsandalwood.com. You can book your own reading with him. I have gotten mine done a couple of times, and I need to book again. I always tell people it's always great to have a reading at the beginning of the year or at your birthday and just kind of check on what's going on and see what's going on. I'm in this Sati Sati for another 18 months, I think, Thor. So I'm kind of slugging through the mud. It's like I'm stuck in the La Brea tar pits for a little bit. but I'm expanding this year, so I've got some good stuff going on. But definitely, give him a follow. He's got cool stuff going on. He's going to be part of the Psychic News universe too. We're going to have him on the next show, and we're going to talk about how the astrology affects some of the pop culture stuff we're going to talk about. So this is wild. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up my card view real quick,
Oh, perfect.
and we'll
Let me
just
see. Do you want me to take down the screen? I can.
oh
here we go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, there. I was trying to just
I'm new to this. I'm new to StreamYard, so
StreamYard's a lot of fun. It's actually
it actually seems quite cool. I like it. It's pretty intuitive.
yeah, I hate to say it's intuitive, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
One of the cool things is like with, I'm doing a series with Rick Paul on Mondays for the next few weeks. And since he has his own StreamYard, he can actually stream to his own social media platforms at the same time. So it's actually pretty cool. Alicia and I do that as well. So let's see the next 3 months for King Charles. We'll take a look at that.
All right. That'd be cool to see what the cards are saying.
Ooh. Ooh. All right.
Oh,
So
yeah. 7 of Swords. Yeah,
not looking good. That 3 of Cups in reverse. So if we're looking at like the next month, this is not party time. And I do think that they're going to find that whatever this is maybe has snuck into some other areas. I think maybe we're going to see that it's a little bit further along than we would like. The Ace of Wands, when we talk about in relation to Cancer, I always get with the Ace of Wands, like that's our radiation treatment. That's our napalm, what we're gonna do. And this looks like, they might have to change course on what the treatment is. So let's look at the next month. So all of y'all that follow me know that when I talk about the Hierophant is always a seat of power on the subject. So if we're talking about American politics, it's going to be the White House. If we're talking about Russian politics, it's going to be the Kremlin. If we're talking about English politics, it's going to be Parliament. We're talking about the royal family. So this Hierophant card becomes the seats of power. So if that's the Privy Council, the king, the supporting family members, if that becomes them, this overrules. So next month, I think we're going to see some shift of power and shift of presence. And we've already seen that with Prince William. We saw him present at the last formal event. He was there up close and personal. Everyone was making a big deal out of him wiggling back and forth. But, I think he was exhausted. He looked tired. I'm sure he's, trying to keep everybody happy. Here we see that the bottom is falling out. We have the 4 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles is supporting. So when I teach tarot, I teach the pips like we're building a house, and the Pentacle house that we build is the Kennedy compound, the Castle Keep. It's really a larger kind of structure that we're going to have lots of generations in, and it's going to stand the test of time. We're not talking about building a prefab house or a small house or anything like that. This is a significant one. The house is going to be turned upside down. It's going to have some weakness here. So this is the reasoning for this discussion. So I think if we get bad news this month, if we see things are a little bit further along and heavier than we expected, here we're going to have to make some shifts of power. We're going to have to make some decisions. And this with the 8 of Pentacles, it's almost like there's too much work to disperse at the moment. Now, Edward was on a little bit of a break as well. And Edward had historically some health issues. He was very thin. Allegedly, there were some stomach issues or something like that. So I think they have too much work and not enough players. So I think this is one of the reasons why, we have to get the Indians in play. So we need a chief. We can't have the chief, having a bad day because of his treatment, because whether it's radiation or chemo or whatever they're doing for him. We've got to get somebody in play there. If I were going to say that the idea of regency is going to come to the fore, this is where it's going to come to the fore. They're going to start talking about perhaps we need to actually go formal and do a regency. So third month along. Oh, that's Six of Cups in reverse. And the Page of Swords. Now, the swords, when we're talking about Cancer, we're going to see either invasion or removal, surgery, that kind of thing. The swords always speak of surgery. I think at this point, the treatment has gone to where it needs to go, and we have to get in there and start taking care of the surgery. I think, I hate to say it, guys, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but this looks like things start to, I think not only is the medication going to really be giving him more poor days than positive days, but I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see him really go backward a little bit. I think, it's going to be very evident. They may not let us see him for a bit. We may just have the Healthy Inhale Prince William for a little bit, and the other parties. I mean, bring that Mike Tyndall out. I love that guy. I think he is sex on legs. I'm sorry. I love Mike Tyndall. He's too young for me, but I think he's really cute. So I think we're gonna have to make some adjustments. The surgery, I think, is gonna happen. They're gonna try and get it out. But I do think that he's going to try and come back to work right away. He's going to try and go for broke and really push forward to make things happen and present really, really well. So is that going to be the best course of action? I think he will do it for the sake of the monarchy, but I do think that he's going to call in all the players. All the players are going to come to the fore, and I think everyone's really going to jump in and try and do what's best for the monarchy. So that's kind of what I see. So I'm just going to pull my screen down so you can see our lovely faces here. So what do you see after the 3 months, Thor?
So after the 3 months, because I'm actually studying that too, he's going to be entering a moon period. Let's see. And moon rules the. So this is quite interesting. I feel like if he can get through these 3 months, but I want to say 3 to 6 months because there's kind of a planetary overlap between these periods. So if he can get through these next 6 months with the treatments and everything else, I actually feel like he's going to have a restoration of his health. So I feel like actually, if I look at the chart, it actually feels like there's kind of a rebound, but I feel like he's in the treacherous point right now. So I feel like if it does get treated, I feel like he's going to be in pretty safe zone according to the astrological energies that I'm reading. But I feel like the next 6 months is going to be pivotal to really look at. I'm worried, and this is what's quite interesting is I've had the opportunity, if you watch my videos, my last video was on Prince William, and I do see that his chart is ready to go for him to be king. Okay, so for the next year, Prince William's in a planetary period where he could become king. You could see a coronation in his chart. Okay, so now this is what people are saying. Some people are thinking that King Charles could possibly abdicate because maybe his health becomes an issue and he just abdicates, and or worst case scenario, end of incarnation situation. That would be worst case scenario. But Prince William's chart, it's definitely showing there's a sense of destiny this next year. He's going to be given a lot more responsibilities, regardless of what happens to King Charles. Prince William is being given a lot more responsibilities. He's going to be going to a lot more of the royal functions. He's going to be standing in place of the king, basically. So that's for sure. So regardless if he ascends to the throne or not, which the chart strongly suggests, but it shows he's going to be taking over royal duties.
And I threw a link to, oh, I did not throw a link to your, let me get that up there. The link to the Prince William video, because it's great. It's really great. If you're fans of Prince William, get in there, go watch it. It's some good stuff in there. So okay, well, let's do this. And by the way, you can leave your chart up. If you can leave it up presented, I can just take it on and off the screen. You don't have to pull it all.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Let me see.
How about we take a look at his chart and see if you see like where that window of opportunity is where he may abdicate. Because I will
okay.
say,
So let me put King Charles's chart. Let's put that.
Yeah,
up.
when Queen Margrethe abdicated, which was shocking for all of Europe, that's the Queen of Denmark, or former Queen of Denmark now. I did a reading on that, and I did a bonus reading with at the end of it for King Charles and Queen Camilla, and I found that they were both very keen on that idea of retirement versus abdication. Now, abdication is a dirty word, but retirement is something that they would be very keen on. And I think she was a great example for them, and it really did pique their interest. So do you see that there's any opportunity, any windows in his chart where he may say, you know what, I'm out, I want to go garden, I want to chill out and play Pink Floyd for my plants?
So actually, that's a really great question. So in Vedic astrology, if we're looking at a chart, typically when people retire, or they give up what's going on, they retire, they decide they're done with the work life or whatever. Typically, it's during a period of what we would call the 12th house or the 9th house. And what I want you all to know is that King Charles. I'm sorry if I slip up and call him Prince Charles. Please forgive me, everybody.
We all do it. Don't worry about it.
King Charles transiting Rahu, which, remember, in Vedic astrology, Rahu just simply means the north node of the moon, which is what they call it in Western astrology. Transiting Rahu is in the 9th house of Pisces in his chart. So something to be aware of is he's being strongly influenced by Rahu. 9th house represents letting go of it represents retirement and studying more of the purpose of life, more going back to your roots, studying religious study. He might become very religious during this time because he's having this like somewhat of a near-death experience. Okay, so he might actually start getting close. I mean, regardless of what everyone's opinion, he might actually start going, okay, I'm really connected to the Church of England, or maybe I need to start studying this stuff and really getting to know this stuff, because, when people face their mortality like this, it does get people to reflect. So the key dates that I want to give everyone is going to be around the eclipses. Okay. So the eclipses are the dates where we could really see something happen. Let me give you the dates of those eclipses if any of you want to mark your calendars. Let's see. I just got to remember when those eclipses are. So hang on. Let me pull up something. But around the eclipse dates, like many of you... Oops, sorry. I put up the wrong thing. But the eclipses are in March and April. So I believe it's April 5th, and then March... let's see, end of March, early April. That's a potential time we could see an abdication or an abdication or giving up, and that's what we might see. We might see something like especially if things are really bad, it might be that there's a sense of he abdicates first and maybe hands over to Prince William. But this could literally be, and it's already February 15th as of when we're making this video right here. But this could be late March, early April during the lunar eclipse. And there's a full solar eclipse in the first week of April. Okay. And that's going to be a really intense one. So we could see some really big news around that time. And that's like upcoming near future. We
Yeah,
also
that's
have,
a hot minute away.
that's really close. So I mean, if we don't see anything on the news about King Charles, and maybe some of your viewers remember this. Didn't they have something where he flew off in a helicopter from Buckingham Palace? Like he was. If we don't see anything if we don't get any updates until then, this could show that it might be heading towards that direction of an abdication. If we
So
don't hear it, because we saw the helicopter fly off, and then
my good friend Gemma, who also has an amazing channel, I will put up her link in just a second. Gemma is in England. She said apparently Harry's being called back for a second time when he's done in Canada.
oh, he's being called back.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just pull up Gemma's channel, and then I'm gonna look up and see if we have anything on that. Um, that's interesting if he's called back. And I know Lady C has been saying for some time that something is going to happen in the spring. Me, psychically speaking, I do think that they are calling him back. They're removing the titles. They're removing the spout of money that is going to them, because I do think that they are still getting some monies from them. I think they're going to pull the plug on whatever financials they're obtaining from them. So I think that that's going to be the big surprise that we get in the spring. But if he's being called back for a second time, maybe should we switch over to his chart and take a look?
Oh yeah, we could switch over. By the way, the eclipses, I'm sorry everybody, the exact dates are March 25th, we have the lunar eclipse. April 8th is when we have the solar eclipse. Then later in the fall, we have September 18th and October 2nd. Those are dates where we could see either an abdication or a retirement or something along those lines.
Okay, you said April 8th, right?
Yeah, so April 8th is the really intense one because that's a total solar eclipse. And I believe that one's going to be visible in North America.
You know what? I'm in New Jersey. We never see anything here. You know what we see?
Yeah.
We see dead deer on the side of the road. That's all we see.
Let me go ahead and put up so it might let's see, I'm going to close that one. I think it only lets me put up one chart at a time. Let's see.
Here, I will pull you down just for a second.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at Prince Harry's chart or William's? Which one were we looking at?
I don't know. What do you think? Well, since they're calling Harry back,
okay, yeah, we
try and figure that out. Gemma, if you can, in the comments, did they say when he's coming back? Is he on his way? Yeah, all the newspapers have been saying it, she said.
All right, let me check look. We can go ahead and take a look at his chart.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Wow, okay, so he's in a crazy period right now. And I'm going to share it here in just a second. But until, let's see, from now until March 11th. But in March 11th is when it's going to get really crazy for Harry.
Okay.
And that is weird because that's coinciding with these eclipses.
Yep.
So March 11th is when he's going to change into a new planetary timeline. And then we have the eclipses happening in the end of March and early. Okay, this is showing a lot of confluence, that there's a lot of changes happening for Prince Harry.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Let me share that. Let's see. Did I? Let's see. Let's go put up that chart if people want to see that one.
We'll get you hooked up with StreamYard.
Oh yeah, I know. I do like this one. Okay, that one should be up.
There we go.
Okay, this is Prince Harry's chart. Okay, so by the way, there's a lot of other things that are tying into this. I do feel that between by the way, so just so the followers can know, I do feel between March 2024 and March 2025, we could see a separation with Prince Harry and Meghan. Okay. It's strong. In fact, it's very strong. The energies are more pulling them apart than keeping them together. All of this could be tied in. I want you all to know that. He might be focusing now on home again. King Charles has cancer. There's a lot of stuff happening back at home. So the focus might be over there, less focus on Meghan. Okay. So that's probably not going to be helping the relationship. Let's see what Anna's got here.
So I'm going to just pop this up here. Oh, actually, I'm going to pull you down. We'll make the card view a little bit bigger.
Oh, cool.
So I'll do same thing as we did for King Charles. Next few months. Oh boy.
I see there's some people in the chat that they're saying finally they weren't really big fans of the Harry and Meghan situation.
Yeah. There's no impartiality with my followers. We're all pretty much on the same page here. So right now, if we're looking at the next 3 months for Harry, and this is kind of the now. So I think he is trying to extend those positive emotions that he's trying to lay the groundwork to let everybody know, hey, I'm on board. Let me just pull this up a little bit. I had it a little bit close for one of my clients earlier today. So he's trying to get those emotions and build the bridge back. Part of this is the admission, which I think is going to be really difficult for him to say, you know what, I'm really not good at this. I'm really not good at being on my own. I ran away from home and I'm just not good at it. Here we have continued messaging. I really messed up. I really did the wrong thing. I used my position for evil, not for good. Though it was kind of sugar coated and wrapped in a good sentiment. This is his come to Jesus moment. And it comes with the I need help, the request for help, the request for generosity, the request for if there's a bend the knee, we're bending the knee right here. We're letting them know, I will serve the monarchy. I will serve the monarchy. And I messed up. We get a little bit further. And now, and I've been saying this for some time, the book that Harry should write, if he's got like a 5-book deal with that publisher, the book that he should write is I married this person. I'm not going to insert your own noun, colorful noun, if you will. I married this kind of person. And this is how I screwed up my life. And this is how I restored my life. And this is a warning to you. It is a redemption arc story, but it is also a cautionary tale. This is where we see this happening, the negotiation for this. Now, there is a certain amount of fear, and the fear we see here because he's not in control. I think he'll admit all of the shady stuff that was done. These were the plans that were talked about behind closed doors when we were 2 bottles of wine in or a couple of joints in, edibles, et cetera, et cetera. I was not in control. I thought that I was. The illusion was there. I really thought that I could do this. And here I'm not quite ready to leave yet. So I think that there are maybe conversations that are happening at this point, but they're not out and about. And not everybody in the Sussex team is aware of this. So I think these are secret conversations that are having, and they're trying to graft from the plan. Those of you that follow know that I've always said Queen Elizabeth had a plan B for Harry, and part of that plan B was to bankrupt him before the divorce happened so that royal funds and items would be absolved from any disbursement according to California law. So I do think that this would be more prep work, trying to make that original plan B work really well. So, Thor, you do read cards as well, yes?
Yeah, I do read some cards.
Yeah. That's I thought I didn't want to speak out of turn, but yeah, I think he's having the come to Jesus moment, and looking at looking at some of the pictures from the lead up to Invictus, I thought it was he looks miserable. He does not look happy. You know, pictures don't lie. They you know, if you're really happy, you look happy all the time. You don't,
Hmm.
you know, have a grumbly face, especially if it's your baby that you're promoting and working with the soldiers that you like. You don't have that face all the time. And, you know, once upon a time, having been in a very narcissistic relationship, you know, yeah, my current marriage, my husband and I both admit that we're narcissists. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel if I wasn't. But we're manageable narcissists. We kind of manage our narcissism. You know, I think poor Harry, I do say poor Harry because I think he really was sold a program of elevation that he really craved and wanted. And it's unfortunate that someone used that uh, for their own personal gain and not to elevate them both. I mean, you know, if you're not in a team in your marriage, you're nothing. You're not going to get anywhere. And I just feel like there was OTD saying I'm not a narcissist. Trust me, I am a little bit. So you know, I just think, you know, he was in a very unfortunate situation. Deborah said the boots she was wearing were $200. Yeah. And in Vermont, they call those Ronda boots.
But isn't that like not very expensive according to the royals, right? $200
It,
boots.
well, yeah, yeah.
Does that mean that things are
Um,
not going good?
so Lady C just bought the domain Duchess of Sussex CO in UK.
Oh
Yes.
wow. Okay.
She's gonna be one of my stops today. I gotta stop over there and check it out. So so let's take a look at Harry again, if you don't mind. I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
his chart up again. Do we see the prodigal son coming back and like fixing the error of his ways at all?
Absolutely. So this year, what I feel is going to happen, again, the eclipse dates are always important trigger dates of things that could happen. Okay. But the general energy for the next year, when we're talking 2024, I'm seeing a lot of, and these are not good, these are not going to be experienced as good changes for Harry. Okay. So for the last year, what I feel what's been going on with Harry's consciousness, when I'm looking at the chart, especially with Moon, he's in a Moon period right now. Moon rules the 8th house. I feel like he's having that moment, which you're calling, Anna, you're calling the come to Jesus moment. I feel like the blinders have been taken off his eyes this last year. So during 2023, what happened is he realized he got in really deep with this situation. So he released the book, but he did not get it didn't make him feel the way he thought it was going to make him feel. And also with Megan, she's also seeing that he's not going to necessarily be the golden ticket that she thought he was going to be. So she anticipated that they were going to be getting all these offers. They were going to be just like these superstars, when a lot of these deals, from what I've been understand, the intel I've been getting is a lot of deals have been falling through.
Mhm.
And so the money situation is actually a critical situation. I think that she sold him a plan that they were going to go to California and that they were going to be easily just making like hundreds of millions of dollars, like no problem. Like, just because of our names, we're just going to make all this money. And I think Prince Harry's realized that, oh my gosh, especially with the Queen passing away, all these things happening with his family now, he's kind of realizing, like, oh my gosh, all this stuff's going to be happening back home and it's all just going to be passing me by.
Mhm.
Because Prince Harry he was beloved by the people.
I know he
Okay.
was.
He's beloved. I feel like he did get, there is some things in the chart, especially if we look at Megan's chart, but she does have a way of influencing people with Rahu in the first house, I believe, in her chart. But she does have this kind of mystical, mesmerizing quality about her, and maybe we don't see that being viewers on the TV. But if you were to encounter her one on one, she has kind of a mesmerizing quality, and she knows how to love bomb people. So
Mhm.
she knows how to get you like all happy, all so I feel like when she found and we know the story from the Harry and Meghan documentary of she just randomly found him on Instagram. That's definitely not true. I do feel like there was a plan. She had put on a plan that okay, this is going to be because Rahu in the first house means that someone is trying to find a way up the means of social mobility. They're trying to find their way up the social ladder. So she saw him and then she made a plan. Okay, we're going to get together and we're going to have this plan. But this plan is blowing back. So in Prince Harry's chart, what I see going on is, let me tell you, in 2025, I feel like he's going to be back home hat in hand. Okay. He's
Okay.
going to be like, forgive me. I made mistakes. Mistakes were made. Many people have fallen for the sake of love. And I actually feel like the royal family is. Okay. So maybe Prince William's going to be a little bit mad at him. Okay. But I do feel like in the end, they are going to be, he is going to be forgiven. Okay. Maybe not given as much of royal duties as he used to have, but I do feel like things will turn out okay with him. This is going to be 2025 and 2026 though. But
Okay.
we may see a nasty separation, divorce kind of situation happen over the next year.
California style. I have to say, I was married to someone in the entertainment industry, someone behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. It wasn't like Johnny Depp or anything like that. But we were filing for divorce in California. And every time I spoke with an attorney out there, and it was an amicable divorce, we're still friendly. Every time I spoke with an attorney, the minute they found out who he worked for and what he did and who he was, they were like, "Oh, sweetheart, you need more. You need more." Like they were talking, lifetime support. We were married for a year. I was like, I don't need that. And they were like,
Like,
"Well,
can
you
I
have
get
dogs."
annulled?
Yeah. Well, they were trying to get me dog support. And I was like, I finally told him, I was like, "Hey, listen, I think, we better file when I'm in New Jersey." And we just go to an attorney who doesn't know about all the California stuff. And he was like, "Okay, that's fine." It took us like 15 years to get divorced, but
Oh
uh
wow.
well, one thing we just were kind of like, all right, so what? We don't have to do it, so we're not in a rush. But I think her being in California and the desperation factor of making sure that she is set for life. I do think, and this is psychically speaking, I think her play is going to be my entire professional career is leveled because of them, not because of what I did, but because of them, because of how they presented me, because of how they disrupted my life, and it's his fault.
It's going to be blame.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is such a hot topic, but Aries Rainbow Child just posted it up. What do you see? I don't want to ask if we're going to see any children, but what do you see in his chart about children? Do you see anything in there?
Now, specifically, are you talking about the current children?
Yeah, allegedly.
I know there's a theory that
There's a lot of theories. Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of theories. I will say this, I did have some followers on my channel ask, what about the children? Are they, according to Megan's chart, and I will tell all the followers here, she was in a period where, and I looked at both children, was it Archie and Lilibet?
Mm-hmm.
I looked at both. She was in a planetary period where she could have children. I mean, as far as where the
She
planets
was.
are. Yes. So I will say that. Now, it still doesn't necessarily, the planets were supporting it, whatever that was. Okay.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, I do feel like there is going to be a sting with Prince Harry and the children. I feel like there's going to be, because Moon is the eighth lord, it's in the fifth house. I do feel like if there's a custody thing, that's going to be difficult for Prince Harry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think the royals are going to want the children there and back home, but I don't know. I'm seeing that this could be a very sore point for Prince Harry.
Yeah. I think so too. Psychically speaking, I think, and
That the
that,
kids will stay with Meghan.
What's that?
The kids will probably stay with Megan.
Yeah, I don't want to dig too deep on it because I think that's a bridge that's going to be a really big suspension bridge by the time we get to it.
Yeah.
Uh, so future episodes.
Yeah, that would be definitely something we could.
But so I'm thinking maybe we should shift over to Megan and take a look at her chart. What do you think?
Yeah, we can take a look at that.
All right, so I'm going to pull your chart down. I'm going to pull down
Let's see.
My cards for now. So, and I just want to remind everybody, I did put a link. I pinned Thor's channel up at the top. Please go over and subscribe to him. He's also going to be on the Psychic News universe. He is part of the Psychic News universe. He is our one.
Which I missed the first one.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's a we told
Mistakes
everybody.
were made.
Yeah, it was some issues, but the next one everybody will be on. We've gotten great feedback from it. You're going to be an amazing component to it, so definitely want you on there. But I also put his website in the chat. It's thorsandalwood.com. You can book your own reading with him. I have my chart with him. I check in with him all the time. I want to make sure that everything's going cool. If you're into this kind of stuff, it's just like doing your annual checkup with your doctor. Just see how things are going to go and how you should conduct yourself. So strongly recommend it. It is money well spent. So is this Megan's chart now? Should I pull
Yeah,
this
this
up?
is Megan's chart. This one that I
I
put up here. Now, by the way, she's in a Venus period right now, and some people were a little bit surprised, but I think she's going to get into another. I don't think she's going to leave Harry until there's another relationship lined up. So she's in a period basically of, if you notice, Venus is in the second house of Leo there, and that's the planetary period she's in. Let's see, she's in this period. These periods can sometimes be long. So June 2023 to February 2026, she's in this Venus period. A lot of times what this means is when you meet someone and say Venus is in the second house, it means the relationship. Let me tell you, this relationship breakup that I feel is going to happen between Prince Harry and Meghan, I feel like she's just going to kind of sail off into the sunset with a new romantic prospect, and then Prince Harry's going to be left holding the bag. Okay, I'm talking about emotionally speaking, reputation wise, just everything, just like his life's been destroyed. Okay, and it's just, well, it's just like that song Miley Cyrus, Wrecking Ball. So it is kind of, it's sad. When I'm looking at the charts, I'm like, this is really sad. I feel like this is going to affect Prince Harry so much. But anyways, I feel like there could be a new romantic prospect, even though we may or may not see this in the media. I don't know. The media is pretty good at spying on people now, so we probably would find out about it. But over the next year, we could see a transition going on. Okay. I don't feel that she's going to leave Harry just like cold turkey necessarily, but that's what the energies are showing in the chart. And Venus, by the way, is a typical planet for meeting someone. So it's a planetary period of romance and so forth. Harry's chart is not that way at all. There's no romance in the near future. It's pretty much, things going bad in a foreign country. He's in a foreign country. He's in the US, and it just looks like kind of a disaster for the next year.
Which, we have a lot of viewers that are in the United States right now, but we also have a lot of viewers that are in the UK. And having been, my son's father is from Peterhead, Scotland. They are very different cultures, even though we speak a common language. They're very different. Just the perspectives that they have about life and class structure was a big one with my ex. I mean, we did break up, and so at one point we didn't get along, but we get on much better now. But class structure was really paramount for him, and looking at things as an us versus them kind of thing. And I think that was one of the scopes that I would look at the Harry and Meghan thing, like, I was like, oh, good luck, girl. Like it's very different. And if you're going to step to it, I thought the one thing that was in her favor was that she was in Hollywood and she was a part of the machine, so that she did see that kind of elevated culture. Then when I found out, she really wasn't part of the A class of Hollywood, it became, I was a bit more alarmed about how she would assimilate into that royal family. Having been involved in some of the entertainment excitement, there is a hierarchy in entertainment. You don't step out of line. You don't run to the front of the room and tackle Tom Cruise. You just don't do it. It's just not acceptable. I've been in the same room as plenty of celebrities. I've walked into my house in LA and there's a celebrity on the couch, so not sleeping on the couch, like not couch surfing, there are different ways that you conduct yourself in different environments. And when she started to thwart the specifics of being a part of the royal family, I go, oh, she's in big trouble. She's in a lot of trouble. She's not going to be able to do this. Not wearing the stockings was a big thing for me. I go, that's a requirement. Not wearing a hat, that's a requirement. That's part of it. So
That's
yeah, I really did think that she was playing up the one of the things that she said, and I apologize to everyone that's in England watching right now, or in the United Kingdom. She said everything in England is just smaller, and it's not smaller. It is, having been to the United Kingdom, I love it there. I think it's fabulous. I love the weather. I'm one of those people that loves the weather. But it's not smaller. She missed the plot. It is just as large, if not bigger, than the Americas, given the history of the empire, given the history of the royal family, and it's a rich and enticing history. And I think she just really missed that and was like, oh, well, America's big and bold. It's not big and bold. It's a little obnoxious when we go abroad. That was my parents. Yeah, my parents always taught us, when you go abroad, behave as the locals do when in Rome. That was something very, very important to them. And I traveled a great deal with them. But they always said, know the laws, know the rules of where you are, conduct yourself as per expected, and assimilate. Don't try and bring your American obnoxious culture to, France or Belgium or wherever. We still have family in Belgium. So I pulled up her next 3 months. I'm just gonna pull down your chart real quick just to take a look.
Annabelle, I'm gonna step away just for a second here.
Oh, sure. So
just be a minute or two.
So everybody, for Meghan, for the next 3 months, what I'm getting here, this is planning for the future. We have that 2 of Wands there. We're starting to plan for the future. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make everybody seasick, but we're starting to plan for the future. Unfortunately, we don't have too many partners, despite the Lemonada deal that she just cut. We're not getting any of the partners that really want to put asses in the seats. So I have some questions about the Lemonada situation. I'm wondering if they because it said partnered feels to me, and those of you that don't know, Meghan's Archetypes is going to be shown on Lemonada, or played on Lemonada, and they're going to distribute it to other podcasting sites. So it says partnered. They said partnered. I'm wondering if they paid a little bit of money into Lemonada, if this is like a vanity publishing kind of thing. Maybe feels like that. With the pentacles in reverse, it does feel like maybe we're doing this on a trial basis, and maybe you'll get commission later. Maybe you'll get some payout later, some residuals. Here, this is marriage is not doing good. I don't think they're very comfortable or happy in each other's company. I think today specifically, I know it's the day after Valentine's Day. I think today specifically, they're both not real keen on each other. They're probably avoiding each other. The relationship for me between the two of them feels very grumbly. So, and I'm sure all of us have been in a relationship like this at one point where you just don't like the other person. And so they can't do anything right. They're breathing wrong. They're walking wrong. Their hair is sitting on their head wrong. So I think it's very much this kind of mentality and this kind of milieu in the relationship that they're just not everything. They just can't stand. Who was the band that did I Hate Everything About You? Ugly Kid Joe. They did that song, I Hate Everything About You. So I feel like that's the current status, and that could even be current status today. We all saw the picture of her up in Canada, Harry shaking the guy's hand, and she's going in for the crazy hug, just kind of barreling in there like, an American, like an obnoxious American. Next couple of months, or next month, I see we're going to have a lot of revelations here. And, those of you that are new or that don't know, this is one of my crystals from Alicia Wicker, and through CRV we touch the ideograms and the writing that we do to get more information. And I use this wand to get more information. And when I go here and I touch this 9 of Pentacles in reverse, I think we're going to start to see more of Megan, like maybe cringing when Harry comes near her. I think she's going to start to drop those breadcrumbs, like that it's a not really nice marriage, that she's taking a little bit of, I don't want to say bumps and bruises because that alludes to maybe that there's some physical stuff going on, but I think she's going to start to allude that they're like she's being poorly treated by, the redheaded royal, elitist that there's going to be. I think we're going to start to see those breadcrumbs being dropped. Here, it'll be meted out a little bit at a time. Now, oddly enough, I do see that right now she's got money in the bank. So I don't know if this is money that she's socked away or put someplace. I think she's got some money on the side, and I think she's hoarding that and keeping it quiet and for herself. So maybe the boots were paid for by somebody else, but I think it's kind of that situation like when you go out with one of your friends and they go, oh, I forgot my wallet. I think she's like, yeah, I forgot my wallet like every day. Moving a little bit further, I think now we start to see more tracks being laid behind the scenes for partnerships. This Ace of Wands is definitely we're swiping on
we're swiping right.
She's trying to find someone. But here I think we do find someone. I think we do get a sucker. Oh, did I say sucker?
We got 2 of Cups here.
We've got the 2 of Cups. I think we've got can lay some tracks here with all this super deluxe fiery passion that we get with that wand there. And I think the lead in is relationship. We've got sex. Oh, we're not supposed to say that. SEX. We got.
I feel like she does. I feel like she locks her. What happens is she locks her sight on someone, and then she's really good at mesmerizing that person,
bringing that in. And here, the lure of money, the lure of making money is here too. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pull up your chart again, Thor. Thor, I'm having so much fun. This is so much fun.
So, yeah, just so you all know, with Megan's chart, when we see, okay, she's got a chart, by the way, where there can be numerous life partners throughout the lifetime. Ooh. Now, at first I thought she was only married twice, but then I found out there was a third marriage that apparently occurred. It was annulled. Mm-hmm. And so my followers had to tell me that. So she's got K2 in the 7th house, which shows that the thing about Megan is she's very unattached to her partners. So kind of, she's one of those types of people. Once she gets them, there's a commitment made and the excitement runs out. She very quickly loses that excitement for the whatever. Even if it doesn't matter who she's with, this is inherent within the chart. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, whether she goes on and meets, I'm just joking here, but let's say she goes and starts dating Elon Musk or something. eventually that will even lose its, because it shows with K2 in the seventh house. There's just this idea of dissatisfaction with your partners. You're never quite finding that person. You're never satisfied. It's always, you think the grass is greener. You keep going, 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 going. And I don't think she even realized that she pretty much hit the pinnacle with Prince Harry.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's going to be anyone, maybe she thinks the next person she meets is going to have a better, there's a better opportunity there, but I don't feel that it's going to pan out. It's not going to be a better opportunity. I don't think she realized how good that she really had it with Prince Harry. That's the thing.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think any of us would have lived and not caught happily. Like, you're on palace grounds. Like, don't call it palace adjacent. Come on. Like, they and also they
was that the cottage you were?
Yeah, that was the
yeah.
Well, not the cottage. Not cot was like a little it was like a little 2-bedroom cottage that was within the castle grounds. And then they were given Nottingham not Nottingham, Frogmore Cottage, which actually was a very nice house.
Frogmore, that's the one
Frogmore was a very nice house, when it was renovated. They did a ton of work on it. It was basically a brand new house. But she wasn't happy with that. That was after they refused to live in William and the Prince and Princess of Wales live in apartment 1A, which is allotted for the next in line, and they were given that, and it's 4 stories. It's quite beautiful, quite palatial. But there was an apartment next door. I guess it's apartment 2. I think it might be. Bless you, honey. That's okay. Gregopedia's here. So they were given that, and it was to be renovated for them, and they turned it down. They decided they did not want to live there, and that's why they wound up in Frogmore. They did not want to live next door to William and Catherine. So it was, kind of shocking. And Persnickety said, yeah, in Nottingham Cottage was William and Catherine's newlywed house. It was, the house that they lived in. So, not a difficult place at all to live in. Me, if I could get, 4 square meals a day made for me, including an afternoon tea, I would be really happy.
What I feel like happened with and this is kind of my opinion, but I feel like what happened based on my charts and then everything I read is, I feel like Meghan, she just couldn't not be in center stage limelight. So when she was over there, she just couldn't handle that. At the time, it was the queen was still alive. She just couldn't handle that the queen was, that there was this hierarchy or this order, and she wasn't that high on it. Okay, so you had the queen, you have King Charles. Well, King Charles now, Prince Charles back then, and then you had Prince William and the Princess of Wales, that they were above in the pecking order, if we want to call it that. But I think she just couldn't come to terms with that. She couldn't come to terms that she wasn't center stage. And I think that was probably the biggest, and we talk about in Vedic astrology, we talk about yoga and things like that, but she couldn't get over her own ego on this thing. She could not get over it.
I think so too. So I know you have a hard stop at 3:00.
Yeah.
Let's look at one last thing, and then you and I will talk offline about maybe doing this again, because this was a lot of fun for me. This was great for me. The eclipses, how are they affecting Meghan in her chart?
Oh, the eclipses. What's interesting is this is interesting, is Meghan is actually the same, and I forgot this, but she's Cancer ascendant, just like King Charles is. The eclipses are happening, and you'll notice they're happening in the 3rd house and the 9th house, and she's got all these like planets in the 3rd house here. So these planets are being affected. So we got Saturn being affected there. So there's some heavy karma that's coming due this next year. Okay. During the eclipses, but also Rahu's going through the 9th house, and I don't know if y'all can see, but right over here, Rahu's going through the ninth house, which represents, it's interesting, is a somewhat of a retirement. But now this doesn't mean, when we talk about retirement, this could be from her, from it being understood that she's this Harry and Meghan concept. That's what the retirement doesn't. I don't think she's ever going to be out of the media spotlight. But it could be this concept of that Harry and Meghan are this centralized entity. Okay, this Harry and Meghan group entity, if you want to call it. Well, there is a sense of stepping down from that, so that we might see that. So we might see things go behind the scenes, especially if she gets a new love interest over the next year. It might actually be quite secretive. What's interesting about Prince Harry's chart is it does show he's in a time of a lot of secretive stuff going on around him. So he might not even be fully aware of what's going on behind closed doors and other things. I don't know if they're around each other all the time. I think they go to different engagements. Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to be definitely he's going to be in a state of shock, because when she decides to leave him, it's going to be very sudden. He's going to be in a state of shock. Even if they kind of talk about it before, like they're going to do an announcement, when he first hears about it, he's going to be in shock. Okay. Even though he's not happy, don't get me wrong. He's not happy, but he's kind of, he's been raised in a way where he does feel a sense. And if I was to tell you about Prince Harry's chart, he has a sense of commitment. Okay. So even if he's not that happy right now, he's kind of like, well, it's my duty. I made marriage vows. I should probably stay in it and tough it out right now. So he's going to be still in shock if this happens. It's going to be a long recovery for him. So if there's a split, it's going to be mentally, emotionally. You're not going to see Prince Harry in a new relationship for a while, a long time.
Okay. All right. So, just one last thing, because I'm curious. There's a lot of chatter about her being very much like the Duchess of Windsor, David's paramour and later wife. Help me, Wallis Simpson. Now, Wallis Simpson remained infamous for the rest of her life, as did Edward, David, as he was called, privately. So, what do you see the conclusion of her life? Like, what is the trajectory of Meghan's life?
What is the overall trajectory?
Yeah, I'm going to pull some cards. Like, we'll just kind of scratch the surface on this one.
That is quite interesting. Now, if I was going to tell you based on what I see, now I'm just, instead of giving you a bunch of technical information, I'll just tell you all pretty plainly what I see on the chart. I feel like there is, for the rest of her life, moving forward, especially as she gets older, she's going to be known. It is going to be kind of an infamous kind of, there's going to be an infamous footnote, if you want to say, in everyone's collective consciousness, because where I see Saturn placed, and then as she gets older, we look at the moon chart, which represents how people see you as you get older. But I feel like there's a lot of social judgment there, which shows that there's going to be a level of infamy there. So now, do I feel that there are some, it's not like she's going to be universally disliked. There are some Meghan supporters out there, but I feel like the collective, as a generalized collective, it's going to be more of a negative footnote. Okay. It's going to be seen as more of, this was a side tour that Prince Harry went on. So that's what I say. I do feel like if we want to say, what happened with Prince or King Edward, was it Wallis Simpson? Was that the name? Or
Wallis Simpson, yes.
Well, so it's going to be similar to that it like he got steered off of his destiny and what everybody thought that was going to, what Prince Harry was going to be a great support to not only the king, but also his brother when he becomes king. I think everyone just expected Harry was the lovable one. Okay. Everyone loved Harry. And I think it's going to be known as the time he went astray. Okay, and she's gonna be kind of cast in that negative light.
Yeah, yeah. I think Harry wanted to cosplay as a commoner. Um, I could have sent him a message. It's not that fun. It's not that fun
It's
being
not
a
fun being a commoner.
cell phone bills are really expensive. It's not
Don't.
that put
I
it on
know
a warranty.
it sounds like it's gonna be a fun adventure, but no.
Yeah. But so I'm kind of getting the same thing too, and I'm going to just pull up my cards real quick. I'm going to pull you down and put up my cards. So I'm kind of getting the same thing too, and this is like a long range. So the long range, the intent was very much on the self, on elevating oneself and bringing oneself to the fore without a lot of spiritual thought into it. So she does yoga, and I do believe that she knows a little bit about the esoteria like we do. I think she reads cards. I actually believe that she reads cards, and there's a little bit of involvement in that. I think the intent to elevate oneself and to make oneself loved was really for the purpose of enriching one's coffers. I don't think that it was done any altruism that she flexes, I don't think is really for the sake of altruism. I think it's for the sake of getting money in the pocket. And all the behavior has confirmed that for us at this point. The attempt to transform in this lifetime, we're speaking karmically, the attempt to elevate herself, to change karmically, I think is really a full stop here. I think all of I believe that between lifetimes, we have a little meeting with our guidance counselors or, HR directors, spiritual HR directors. I think the accomplishments that she was allotted for this lifetime, she's really blowing them off. To use her term, not ticking the boxes. She's blowing off the skills that she needed to learn in this lifetime. This strong influence here this is her support team. Her support team is the wealthy man, the guy who loves her, the drooling guy who's like kind of hanging on her heels and following her butt around because he is enamored with her. It's not a true partnership. It's not a true situation. I hate to say it feels very transactional that her being in this lifetime, her terrestrial life, is supported by this transactional relationship with men. And it's, again, not one, it's several. That even though I only have 2 court cards here, I am getting that it's the input of several men, which is so feminist of her, or Meganist, as some people say. Up here, she is the illusion. She's the one who changes. She modifies and shape shifts into what people want. And I think this is that engagement that you were talking about, that love bombing, where she's, what do you want me to be? How do you want me to be? Figuring out, being very intuitive about figuring out what people need to hear and what we need to say to get what we want out of them, or to get them into our positioning. Underneath the surface, this is the lifetime that she's going to have to redo. The things that she was supposed to learn in this lifetime, she's going to have to redo in the next one. Up here, the results of this, we get melancholy, messenger, and waiting. So I get the vision of Mrs. Havisham and Great Expectations, and she was the bride that was left at the altar, and she's still in the gown, and Pip goes over there, and the wedding cake is rotting on the table, and she's in shreds. This is where she is really going to get stuck in terms of mentality, this relationship, and how this marriage has now hamstrung her from being a success, returning to that amazing success that she likes us to know. So, down to that she was an amazing success, but that's the PR that's thrown out. So I do think that long term, this is what we're going to see. I don't think anybody on this stream is very surprised by that. I think, we all know what we got. We all were introduced and we believed her when we saw her. So some of it took us a little bit longer. I was hopeful. I was hopeful when they first
Yeah.
met. She was adorable
I
on that.
was too, actually. I was wishing them the best,
Yeah, I
you know, so
and I think that's the thing that it really sparks most of the backlash on her, is that we really did like her, and that there wasn't the R word. If anything, like I thought it was much more cultural
no,
from.
I thought they were very welcoming, actually. I thought they
Yeah.
were, and, I feel that she had a wonderful, this is what I feel, and I feel like when I look at her chart, and when we're thinking about, if we're talking about life, the life between lives where we plan out our lives, I feel like she was handed this incredible opportunity to make a positive change on the planet.
Hmm.
Like, here, you're going to have this incredible opportunity where she could have used that up. She could have became famous just like she wanted, but I mean, as royals, they run a lot of charitable foundations. They do a lot of charitable work. She could have, if she would have fully embraced that, I feel like she could have done a lot of good. But it wasn't going to be a me thing. It was going to be a, if you can shift outward. What is it? We need to shift from the movie of me to the movie of we.
Yes, yes, yes.
So if
It,
she could have shifted to the movie of we and embraced that, she would have had an incredible opportunity. And I feel like in the next life, she might be getting repeating situations because she didn't take this opportunity that she was given in this lifetime. Because
yeah.
she still was focused on the movie of me.
Well, I tell my clients whenever they have a karmic thing that they're doing, the universe is going to throw you that same equation a few times, and some lifetimes they escalate. So, if you have a karmic thing, you got to work it out, because you may get a harder one in this lifetime or the next one. So maybe more difficult, I mean, please, universe, make me rich in the next one. Um, make things easy. I just want to be able to pay my bills on time. So it's a shame. It's a shame, but for us, I think it's one of those age old stories where, and I think that's why it's so engaging, is because we really do want to watch this. It is a morality play in real life, if you will. We're watching in real time somebody make some really stupid mistakes, and when sometimes you should just sit down and kind of wait for the rest of the story to play out, and see how it goes. I think if she had waited and been more patient, I think things would have turned out better for her. But
That's what I feel. I feel she got too restless. And I mean, when they got married, I forget how long was it before they made the announcement that they were stepping. It wasn't only a year or two, right? But it was
I think
very
it was
quick. She
within,
didn't even give it a time.
yeah, it
That
was
was the
within 2 years, I think. Yeah.
She didn't
But
even give it time to really work this out. And like I said, she wasn't center stage, and she couldn't handle this. She couldn't handle the royal life, which is, I mean, for all the glitz and glamour we feel the royals have, it is kind of like you're not really living your own life with that.
it's a
You're going
job.
to all these engagements. You're doing as you're told,
Mhm.
essentially. Like Prince William doesn't have all this freedom that people. Prince William, not Prince Harry anymore, but Prince William doesn't have all this freedom. And I think that she couldn't handle that. That you go to where the king or the queen tells you to go, and you represent the royal family. And it's a type of work. Now people might poo-poo that a little bit, but it is a work going to these engagements. You're doing something that you don't want to, that you might not personally be choosing to do, but you're doing it because you feel obligated. So I think she just couldn't handle that they were just going to be going to these engagements. But she could have embraced it, just like with when Princess Diana, Princess Harry, or Prince Harry's mother, when she started getting involved with all the charitable work with the landmines, and then the I believe she was involved with some of the AIDS
Yep.
things that were going on at the time. But she really embraced her role. That went a different way, of course. We don't need to go into that story, but Princess Di, she did embrace that idea of the humanitarianism, really going out there, embracing the charitable causes. I feel like that's something that Megan could have emulated. And I think she was kind of wanting to emulate that in the beginning, but we kind of lost our way there.
You know, the authenticity, for as often as she says authenticity, I just think the authenticity wasn't there. You know, and that's one of the reasons I love your channel. You know, you come off very authentic, and I follow a lot of esoteria. You know, some people don't come off authentic. Some people are, you know, I know Alicia and I, we talk about psychic Joni when we do our dueling tarot together, and so your psychic Joni is a riot. You know, does she come off very authentic? No, not really. But you know, I think you know, sometimes you have to find the things that resonate with you and work really hard toward that, and you know, not force it down people's throats. And that was, I think, on the part of Queen Elizabeth. She gave her the patronage with the Royal Theatre. She gave her the patronage with rescue dogs. Those were opportunities for her to get in there and really do something that she loved. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I used to train dogs. I had my I had a security dog training business before I had kids. And you know, you can spot somebody who doesn't like dogs a mile away, and you may love your own dogs, but you know, does that mean you like everybody's dogs? I love my own kids. I was a teacher for a year. I couldn't stand it because I didn't want to teach other people's kids, you know, and didn't want to, you know, pursue that as a permanent position because it just wasn't for me. And I think, you know, the glamour that she puts on, the illusion that she tries to create, and again, you know, speaking to you saying that she's able to kind of dazzle people and bewitch them with her behaviors and what she says and the buzzwords that she drops. I think those were things that she did with the Queen, and the Queen assigned those roles to her. And then at the end, she just didn't, the proof wasn't in the pudding. She just didn't have it. So I think continued watching them is going to be interesting. I think you're right. I think we're going to see a year of some craziness out of them. And I know you and I will be keeping a watch on it
Absolutely.
on our own channels, on the Psychic News universe. You know, I'd love to do this again with you. This was really fun. This is a good time. So with that, like I said earlier, Thor's got some appointments he's got to address this afternoon. So we're going to bid everybody farewell. Hope you enjoyed this. Again, I'm stressing, please, pinned comment in the comments. Thor's channel is up there. Go see his Prince William video. He just launched it a couple days ago. It's fabulous. It's really, really good. Also his website, www.thorsandalwood.com. You can book your own magical reading with him. You can go do it. I know we were both lucky. We both got our own businesses.
Yeah, I got my name.
Website. Yeah, we didn't have to play any games with that. So, but we'll talk more about this in the future. But thanks everybody that stopped by, and everybody have a great day.